Okay, so if you could just introduce yourself.
All right, it's Hindi, one of the gastroenterologists here in Brooklyn, and I'm ready for the interview.
Okay, so in my class we're learning about prenatal development and the process from fertilization to birth. And because you're a doctor, I'm sure that you've seen some babies delivered in your lifetime. So I was wondering what you can tell me about the extent to which the birth process is affected by culture.
Okay, sure. It's an interesting question. I thought it was more scientific, but I like these kind of questions. Different cultures would the way we see them in the hospital sometimes are also different in the way the kids are born. I remember when I was a medical student rotating in the GYN section in the hospital, we had a lot of Pakistani patients. And every time there was a delivery, there used to be like 50 people in the room, and everybody was waiting, excited about the baby coming out. Hispanics also tend to have more children than usual, so then after the first two kids, the family doesn't come anymore like before. In regards to the birth itself, the time of birth, it's almost standardized for everybody because, they go to the hospital, they'll be on the monitor, they're examining the mother and they're examining the baby, and they'll have the fetal monitor on, and there was no difference in the way, they were born. But the cultural aspect of it before birth and right after birth, you can see that different cultures reacted differently.
Perfect. So what kind of practical and moral issues are posed by modern means of intensive neonatal care?
Wow, it's like a really complicated question. Say it again. What
Okay,
kind of?
so what practical and moral issues are posed by modern means of intensive neonatal care?
Uh,
Maybe you want to break it down like practical and then moral?
are opposing like births?
Like pose, like what kind of issues like can come up? Like practical issues and moral issues when it's intensive care for a baby.
Right. All right. So let's break it down as you said. So the practical aspect of it. Uh, there's nothing practical about a baby that is born in an intensive care unit. If this is what the question is about, there's a lot of stress in the family, especially with the parents. I was exposed to it too because part of the medical school we get to do pediatric. Okay, we do the pediatric intensive care unit, and I remember there was a lot of tension and a lot of drama with the parents of the babies, especially if they're preemies and they have a lot of complications. But I can tell you that once this baby is moved out of the intensive care unit, I mean, everybody was happy. So morally, it helped everyone, and practically, it was a success because everybody got better, and the baby made it out of the intensive care unit.
Okay, so what is your stance on if a mother comes to you and asks you breastfeeding or formula?
Okay, this is a no-brainer. I'm for breastfeeding. My wife herself, we also did the breastfeeding. We know from multiple studies, we know from research that a lot of the immunoglobulins you get from the mother to try to help with basically infections later in the future.
The colostrum, which is the
Which is
most.
the colostrum in the beginning, the first the first milk that you're gonna get. We know that other than just this, developmental-wise, the baby do much better. Like if I remember from studying and reading, that when it comes to the size, height, like the individuals when they grow, and when it comes to their social skills, to their developmental skills, they actually also did much better whenever they were breastfed. So I'm definitely for breastfeeding.
Um,
And actually, sorry, one more thing we know also is that just the fact of the baby socially, the kids, and they do better. So they'll have, better interaction with other, kids, or they have better interaction, in life as a social person.
So, staying along with that point that you just made, Kloss and Kennel proposed the early bonding hypothesis, and they claimed that the first 6 to 12 hours after birth is a very sensitive time for the mother and the baby to form a really strong emotional bond. So, if, let's say, there is a complication during birth and the baby is not able to be with the mother, what's your stance on that? Do you think that it will ultimately affect the relationship with the mother and the growing child, or do you think that it's, iffy?
So I can tell you that the priority is that you want the baby to be healthy, because if you do have a healthy baby, you can have a social baby after. But the main thing now, if the baby's health is in jeopardy, and intensive care unit is the place for him or for the baby to be, it's better to just take care of what the medical aspect of everything is. And once this, just health issue is resolved, then there'll be enough time for the baby to bond. Is it gonna affect the future of the baby in regards to like the social aspect? Could be. But at the time, a decision needs to be done, to be able to make the baby healthier. And if this decision is to be far from his mother for a little bit of time until the baby gets better, I think at the time this is a decision that has to be taken. That's what needs to be done.
Thank you so much.